Sneak Peekers, Jillian Malone here at the Alamo Drafthouse to interview its founder, Tim League, who just so happens to also be the founder of Fantastic Fest. Stick around, you do not want to miss this. Alamo Drafthouse, you're a producer, you started Fantastic Fest, but we kind of wanted to do a fun, creative interview with you today called the ABCs of Tim League.
All right.
You down for it? Okay,
Sure.
okay. So A, all-time favorite movie?
Adam's Apples, which is a Danish comedy. And I was obsessed with this movie for so long, and we're really excited. I'm going to tie it back to Fantastic Fest. We're really excited because 10 years later, this director's finally made another movie, and we're playing it at the festival called Men in Chicken.
B, best person you've ever worked with?
My co-producer on ABCs of Death. He's an old friend of mine. His name is Ant Timpson. He's a New Zealand producer. He does a lot of the same things I do. He has an outdoor film screening series. He has a genre festival in New Zealand. It's almost like we have parallel lives, and so I always love it when I have the chance to work with him. It's a lot of fun.
C, comedy movie of choice?
Dr. Strangelove.
D, death by what was the scariest scene in ABCs of Death?
It's every time I look at this guy's animation, it just creeps me out. It's like there's lots of bugs and I don't know, just bodily fluids. It's revolting. So I like it, but I have a hard time watching it every single time.
E, everyone needs to see which Drafthouse action pack?
Princess Bride. Everybody needs to see that movie, period, and I think it's a really fun show.
I like the Taylor Swift one too, the 2K pop one. Yeah. That was a good one for me.
You know what? Actually, every eligible male in Austin should go to more sing-alongs because it's sort of 95% ladies in the room, and if you're fun and a good dancer, then you're pretty much you got a good chance of maybe finding a soulmate.
My friends and I definitely hit up the Beyonce one. We were there. F, favorite pre-show entertainment video at the Alamo Drafthouse?
Song is called Potato Salad for whatever reason, and it's these three sisters who are contortionists that do the most insane dance. And they're very flexible, so I'm riveted every time I see it.
Genre of movies that you prefer?
If it's for binge watch purposes, probably going to be action.
H, horror film that should be remade?
None.
Okay, I, inspiration to start Fantastic Fest?
There is a similar festival in Spain called Sitges, and my wife and I went there on vacation back in 2002, and we were blown away by it. That's sort of telling that we go to film festivals for vacation. But we were inspired by what they were doing, and there was really nothing like it in the States. And a few years later, we got pushed into doing this.
J, just can't visit Austin without...
Of having serious barbecue. You got to be careful where you go. There's only a few places that are worthy, but...
Very true.
Yeah.
Have you tried Franklin's?
Oh yeah, so Franklin, La Barbecue, Miller Meat Company, Mickelwait's, all four of those are viable options for your first time.
K, kill scene in a movie that you had to look away from?
My father took me to go see Jaws in 1977 when I was 7 years old, or 76, when I was way too young to be, and it freaked me out. Like the whole movie freaked me out, but just the ending when Quint is being eaten by the shark, I'm pretty sure I looked away. The whole movie just destroyed me for a couple years. We vacationed at the beach and it was a problem.
No swimming for you, right? Location that needs an Alamo Drafthouse ASAP.
I want to get the Brooklyn Theater open as soon as possible, and it's been delayed a little bit, so it's coming in spring of 2016. In the Miller Airport area, that project can't get here fast enough. So it's still another year away. I want that one to happen fast.
And most unique part of Fantastic Fest?
I think it's got to be the Fantastic Debates. There's no other festival that does anything even remotely close to that. And it's where filmmakers and directors, stars, journalists, and festival programmers like myself debate topics that are of relevance to filmmakers, but the debate happens inside of a boxing ring, so it's capped off by 2 rounds of actual boxing. So it's my favorite event. I've competed every year. I'm doing it again this year. My neck hurt a lot last year. I got punched quite a bit.
And a new movie in theaters you want to see?
I still haven't seen The Martian. So it looks good, and the early reviews out of Toronto were good. We're playing it at Fantastic Fest, so I'll get a chance to see it next week.
Oh, one person you wish you could work with?
The opening night film is by a director by the name of Yorgos Lanthimos, and he's one of my favorite directors. He's just really kind of emerging. He's got a big movie, really. It stars Colin Farrell. I would love to make a movie with that guy. He's one of my favorite storytellers.
P, fun question. Popcorn with or without butter?
With butter, clarified butter. Yes, it's. I always have to do butter. I know it's bad for you, but it has to be, all in.
Q, quote from a movie that you say way too often.
Badges. We don't need no stinking badges line. So I don't know why I used that, but I did. It did come out of my face yesterday. Yeah.
R, reason for founding the Alamo Drafthouse.
I took a job right out of college. I was an engineer for Shell Oil for a couple of years, and I just didn't like it. And so I was looking for something else to do, and I started thinking about what I really do like, and I love movies. And so on my way to work, there was an abandoned movie theater, and that sparked the idea to do it. And a week later, boom, I was in the movie business without much thought.
That's awesome for, a college audience too, to know, like, just follow what you're passionate about, and it'll all work out.
And you can always switch jobs down the road. The first job doesn't have to be the final job.
You don't always have to stick exactly with your major.
No.
It's comforting. S, scary movie that's given you nightmares.
Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer. When I was maybe like 12 years old, and it's back in the early video store days, and you could just rent anything you wanted as a 12-year-old, and I shouldn't have rented that because it's not that it's the scariest movie in the world, but it's atmospherically really gross, and it stayed with me as a 12-year-old.
I don't think I could handle that now.
Don't watch it, yeah.
T, top 3 favorite actors.
Is Tom Noonan, who's a character actor. He's not even that well-known of an actor, but he's in a movie at Fantastic Fest called Anomalisa. I mean, Orson Welles when he was in his prime. I like Daniel Day-Lewis. It's a tough question, but I'm just going to go with those 3. That 2 popped into my head, and 1 I needed some prodding.
U, upcoming Fantastic Fest movie people have to check out.
Well, I already mentioned Anomalisa, which I think is a fantastic accomplishment. It's directed and written by Charlie Kaufman, who's one of my favorite storytellers, who's actually going to be here at the festival. I also, I'll give a couple answers. There's a movie called Victoria, which is a German action film, and even though this sounds like a gimmick, it's more than that. It's a movie that was shot all in one take, but it's an action film, which is, I don't think anything even remotely close to this has ever been done. And I really like this movie called Son of Saul, which I think has a really strong chance of being Best Foreign Language Film this year at the Oscars.
Wow, we have to look out for that. You heard it here first.
Yes.
V, very best rolling roadshow stop.
Many years ago, we got funding to take the roadshow overseas. Wow. It's the only time we've ever done it, and we did all of Sergio Leone's spaghetti western Fistful trilogy. So 3 movies. We did them on location in southern Spain where they were shot, and all these locations from the 1960s are still there, still intact. It was a really special prepaid vacation, I guess. I shouldn't. It was weird to call it work because I enjoyed myself so much.
I need to get into that somehow. Yeah. W, worst movie ever made.
Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. It's going to be a long list of reboots. I just don't like what's happening. We're taking classic films and making subpar reboots of them. So no offense to the people that made them. I'm sure they're all really nice, but do something original.
X, X-Men or the Avengers?
As a comic, the X-Men. As a movie, the Avengers.
Y, yummiest thing on the Alamo Drafthouse menu?
I go to the Alamo a lot, and so I'm very well acquainted with the menu. So I always look forward to the new rotating specials. So right now on the menu, I'm going to go with the Turkish-themed specials for Fantastic Fest. I was part of the team that tried out all those dishes, and I loved them all, and I can't wait to start binge eating them this week.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I have a really bad problem not getting out of my comfort zone, so those fried pickles are my go-to every time. They're good. They're good. They're bad for me, but they're good. Finally, Z. Zipping forward to next year, what will you be doing?
Hopefully, I'll be sitting in this chair talking about the 2016 lineup with you or your counterparts. So
I hope so. Fingers crossed. I still got 2 more years of school after this.
Well, we'll see you right here in front of some different posters at Fantastic Fest. Yeah.